Hello everyone, my name is Kay and this is my Cave of Possibilities. I have knitting to the right of me, cross-stitch to the left, and here I am, stuck in the middle with you. And I just realized I can't tell my left from my right and totally did that opposite. But in the long run, it doesn't matter at all. Princess is here, trying to say hello. She heard me start to talk and of course ran right over. She's going to be all up in our business because that's what she does. I didn't mean to be away for so long after, well, coming to a conclusion on all the festive kits that I unboxed and unwrapped and looked at over the holiday season. I unwrapped 13 of a total 18, so there are still 5 boxes that I haven't opened at all. I think I just got burned out on opening little boxes every single day. I have almost plans for all of them. Here she comes. You're gonna get in the way. I might have to deal with the cat. The battle was mighty. She may have won, but it was a close one. We nearly knocked over the camera. What was I saying? I didn't mean to stay away for so long. The first Saturday of January, I was really quite sick. I think I picked up a pretty nasty cold from one of the students at work. They have all come back from their various vacations and the holiday break, and so I picked up a cold that somebody brought back and was feeling really quite under the weather for several days, so I didn't record on that week. And then last week I was set to record, but it became apparent that Toby, the Australian Kelpie, he was not doing so well, and we had to put him down. So because of that, I couldn't really record either. I'm going to have to think about something else, otherwise I'll really start crying. It's a lovely Saturday today here in Happy Valley, Utah. We're getting little light flurries of snow, and the light is pretty good facing out of my north window. I think that's pretty much all I have for intro. So let's talk about what I have been knitting on. And what I've been knitting on has primarily been the Allsorts Cape by Amba O'Brien. I'd show you the next page, except it has a lot of the instructions. And so it's a paid-for pattern and worth every penny that I did pay for it. Let's grab my knitting. I have a total of 3 more rows to knit, and then I get to bind off this project. I'm so very close. I had initially thought that I would finish it up before recording the video, but then I was afraid it would get too late and get a little bit dark because this is a north-facing window, so we get a little dark on early, and then I wouldn't record at all, and I really didn't want to go another week without recording. Hang on, my ball of yarn fell on the floor, and I want to pick it up before Princess decides that it is her toy. All right, let's see. This has kind of a unique shape to it. And so I'm not really sure what the best way to show it to you would be. Maybe. Well, there are the arms. Well, this is all backwards now. All backwards. No, 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 little cat. Please stop. No, no, no. That's not for you to play with. You have claws. Okay, is this the front side? Cats, right? So this is pretty much the size of a throw blanket, but it has a little bit of, it's also U-shaped, so that you can wear it over your shoulders. It's a bit like a blanket, a bit like a shawl, and a bit like the throw blanket. It's very, very large. Let's stand up so you can see. I first started knitting over here, and it's the same pattern the whole way through. I just alternated colors. The dyer of the yarn was Love and Speckles, and she came up with an alternative order of her festive kit so that it would be a little more contrasty instead of so fadey. So there you kind of get a picture of the whole thing. And then we can pull it up here. Am I stepping on something? Of course I am. You can kind of see there. Yep, there's the U in the middle, so that goes over your back. We have one long arm on this side, one long arm on that side. This has been a very long knit. It is, like I said, it's about the size of a throw blanket, and that takes a lot of yarn. The pattern is pretty much the same, so admittedly, in some instances, I have struggled a little bit with doing the same thing forwards and back and forwards and back and forwards and back. I do like a little bit more variety in my knitting that this just doesn't offer. However, if you are a fan of garter, there is a lot of garter in this project, and the details that make it be sort of the chevron shape are really simple. It's yarn overs at the beginning and end of the repeat with a central double decrease in the center. So I would say that a beginner, well, maybe a step up from a beginner, can do that. You have to keep track of your yarn overs and your center double decreases. But other than that, it has been, I mean, that's not even saying that this has been a terrible knit. It's just, it's been a long knit, and I'm really excited to get it done. As always, I've put little stitch marker rings in between each of my repeats, and that just helps me keep on track so that I know that I have done the pattern correctly when I come to it. So I will either be able to finish it up tonight, but if not tonight, certainly tomorrow when I get to work editing the video. So that is my first knitting project to show you. I will set it aside and grab the second one. I failed to mention, because I am very rusty at this, that the yarn used for my Allsorts Cape came from Love and Speckles is the dyer. It was her twisted sock base, which I believe is either an 80-20, which would be 80% merino, 20% nylon, or it might be an 85-15, the ratio for merino to nylon. The name of the kit was Purple Explosion. Love and Speckles sells on Etsy. She's out of Australia, and I know that she still has some sets available for purchase. She doesn't wrap up the sets to help save on shipping costs. She sends it out as soon as it's dyed. So if you're looking for a purple explosion of wonderful, wonderful colors, it's available to you. If I remember, I'll put more information and a link to the dyer down in the description box down below the video, so you can click there and get a good look at what, and go shopping, because we all love shopping, don't we? I do. It's a disease. All right. The other thing that I am working on is the Habitation Throw from Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. Now, granted, this one has been on the back burner, or sort of second choice when I have been working on the Allsorts Cape. So it hasn't seen a whole heck of a lot of progress in the past month or so. But as soon as I finish up with Allsorts, I'll get back to work on this one. Here we go. Oops. Everything's tangled up together. Here we go. Here is where I am in Allsorts. I started down here with a warm gray, a warm brown, more of a cooler gray, some browns and reds. That green and that orange just totally speak of fall leaves. And then I have just started in on another brown. You can barely see it there on my, Hoojimakuzits. This pattern is also a heck of a lot of garter, but it is broken up every I think it's either 4 or 5 rows with a row of yarn overs and knit 2 togethers, I believe. Shouldn't be giving away all the secrets, but the pattern is completely worth the price. Helen writes a brilliant pattern, as does Amba O'Brien. I am using a festive kit that I purchased for festive season 2021, so definitely a year ago, way back. And it was dyed by Savannah of So Livy Dyes Yarn, and it was the one and only year she offered festive kits, and they are a lot of work. And I totally understand all the dyers who look at a festive kit and say, I don't want to do that, because they are a lot of work. Anyway, her theme was woodland and woodland creatures, and so this is why all my colors are beautiful, warm colors, things you would find in the woods, like leaves, and I forget what the orange one, it might have been bees. I know the brown that I'm working on, or about to start working on right now, it's entitled Bear. It's just really a delightful knit. My little progress keepers, these little Christmas trees, are one, to help me remember which is the right side of the project, and two, to show kind of where I was stopping and starting every night when I would sit down to work on this project. They come from Simply Serving, who is a seller on Etsy, and I'm just using all of my Christmas trees. 4 of them are on my project right now. This is the project that I anticipate getting to work on quite a lot as soon as I finish off Allsorts, then I'll switch over to concentrating on this one and really making a push to get this one finished. As usual, I typically don't have more than 2 projects on the needles at any one time. I'm almost a monogamous knitter, simply because coming from cross-stitch I have so many unfinished whips that are here, there, everywhere in little bags, and so when I started knitting I was like, it's 2. So there is that. Let me set this aside and we'll look at the very few purchases of yarn that have come in over the past few weeks. One day I came home from work and found a package on my desk from Cornbread and Honey. I had purchased a festive kit from her and did open it. You can go back and have a look if you would like to about everything that was in the festive kit. It was her Horizon version. And in the envelope was a beautiful skein of all sorts of just greens. Aren't they gorgeous? Light greens, dark greens, pale green, some little specklies going on right there. A beautiful, beautiful yarn. This is entitled Comfy and Cozy Holiday 2022. And it is a 75% superwash merino and a 25% nylon blend. I have no idea why it was sent to me. Maybe there was supposed to be a full skein in with the festive kit I ordered, but it didn't get packed away with the kit, and when she realized her mistake, maybe she sent it to me. I don't know. It was a complete surprise, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous skein, and I will tuck it away with the festive kit until I have an idea of what I want to do with it. The other, let's see, that's good. That right there is not covered in cat hair. Oh, you've come back! Princess has come back. Are you going to help or hinder? Hinder. Yeah. Anyway, At the end of the year, Miss Babs has a gratitude sale. And Miss Babs is one of my favorite dyers of all time. I just love her colors. She does purples really well, and I really enjoy the hand feel of her superwash yarns. I use Yummy 2-ply quite a lot, but I've had my eye on Andrea Mowry's Night Shift shawl for a long time. When I was investigating the yarns to do it with, I found that the spin cycle was a little bit pricey, kind of out of my range. And I was really nervous because each skein is a little bit different. And so, me being as risk adverse as I am, I was not quite ready to take the gamble on buying a lot of spin cycle yarn. But Miss Babs had some DK weight sets put together. And of course, I love purple. Oh, the window glare is going to be awful, you guys, but I don't want to take it out of the bag because then it will get covered in cat hair. And I don't want that to happen. So, unfortunately, you're going to have to live with a little bit of crinkles and a little bit of reflective glare. Anyway, this beautiful set of purples going from dark to light, matched up with some wonderful, peacocky teals. That looks just wonderful. Anyway, it was available for her gratitude 20% off sale, which happens every year from midnight of December 25th to midnight of December 31st. So that week between Christmas and New Year's, everything in her shop is 20% off. And people just go crazy and buy all the things. And in past years, I've gone crazy and have bought all the years. But this year, I was very restrained. So this is what I'm planning to do Andrea Mowry's Night Shift shawl out of. I think I will work on that probably while I am working on the habitation throw as sort of my rest piece, so I can go back and forth between those two projects so I don't burn out and really get tired of one project or the other. Let me clean up the desk. It's going to be a surprise. I actually have cross stitch for you guys. I know, I haven't done much of cross stitch for years. Let me get that put together. So I have been working here and there on cross stitch projects. I've been trying to work through my backlog of all the projects that I have started but haven't worked on for 3, 4, 5 years, some of them, ever since I started learning to knit. And I think in 2020 knitting really took over my life. Last year I finished up an RTO kit. Let me use this. Trying to find something to hold behind it because with the light coming this way you'd be able to see right through it. This is a darling little kit from RTO, and it was either Spring Pansies or Fresh Pansies or First Pansies. I forget the name of it. Probably First Pansies. And I had the mug done and the shading down here behind the mug, and so I started on all of the beautiful purple flowers and the pansies up above there. And I'd work on it a little bit here and there as I went along. I really enjoyed it. I used the kit fabric, which is an 18 count Aida, and all of the kit flosses, which were cotton flosses. I believe there was a conversion I found online to DMC because I ran out of one of these greens. I did a boo-boo and then I had to unpick, and then because I did a big boo-boo and unpicked, I had less of the light green, so I had to find a conversion so I could get some DMC green out and finish up my pansies. So this is so darling, just small, fresh and delightful. I'm looking forward to getting it framed. As you can see, I've been working on my wall. There's some holes here. So I have some cross stitch on the wall behind me. Let's go this way. Well, it doesn't look like we're going left to right. It looks like we're going front to back. Anyway, this wall, and then over here on this wall over the desk, there's some more room for cross stitch. So I've been doing a little bit of framing. Let me show you one of my projects that I finished forever ago and have gotten framed. Down in Springville, close to my old condo, is a place that does framing, and they do an excellent job. And so I went and had my lavender pansies. This is a pattern by the Silver Lining. I did this on an 24 count. Hang on, the cat's getting into trouble. Now she's not. Anyway, a 28 count water lily linen. It's absolutely gorgeous. The lady suggested the dark olive matte, and it looks really good in the viewfinder. Sometimes the light that I get here in the room, and I'm not too sure about the dark green olive matte. My hands are are swinging around because the cat's rubbing her head on my arm. I know. Yeah, you can. Such trouble. Anyway, so there's that. And I've just sort of been working through my backlog. Here you go. Through my backlog of cross-stitch finishes. I'll take one in, have it framed, and when they call me to pick it up, I bring another one in. And it usually rotates on about a 3-week schedule. It takes them 3 weeks to order in the molding if it's not there and get the mats cut, and just, you know, my place in line because they have people coming in all the time. I think they do a great job. They make it fun to go in and have stuff framed. Well, how about as we go along, I'll just show you more things that I have framed. Let's see. The actual thing that I've really been working on, and here in my super fancy project bucket, which is a giant Rubbermaid tub, I have been working on my conversion for Mirabilia's Gypsy Mermaid. This is what she is originally charted to look like in oranges and yellows. And oranges and yellows aren't really my thing. Let's see. Do you guys use styrofoam blocks as parking places? I keep my styrofoam block in plastic to keep it from falling apart, and then I just use a sticky note to write down the number and the thread that I'm working on. You can see over there the pinks that I'm temporarily done with, but I've been mostly working with these whites and grays over here. Let's move that aside. And here's my project. I don't know how long it's been since you guys have seen this lady. I started working on her conversion a long time ago. Way back in 2018, I think. She was what I was working on when I learned to knit, and then slowly faded away from that. Well, what I have done in the time, let's see, I filled in all of these petals, the flying petals over here, and down here. I filled all those in. I finished up the stripes on the border, up both sides from the seahorses up and around. And as you can see, I'm working on the giant emblem right here at the top that is sort of the reverse of that thing. So as soon as I get that done, then I can get back to work with the beading. The beads that I have put in there were sort of trial beads to see if they would work, to see if I liked them. And I think so far those are looking good. It'll be interesting to see what comes up with once I really get all of them in and done and ready to go. So I just have a little bit of stitching up here, in the medallion, and then it'll be time for backstitch and beads. And I work on that maybe one day a week. I thought for a minute that I would try to do the 25/7, 25 stitches or 25 minutes a week, 7 days a week. And I lasted for all of 2 days before I got interested in other things, and then just haven't really worked on it since. But one day, I'm enjoying it a lot more. I will say that I got new contacts in, well, about August of last year, and they fit them so that this eye is for distance and this eye is for close up. And I'm completely used to close up with this eye and distance in my left eye. So I think maybe when I go in next time, I'll see if they can switch it around, because I'm having a harder time cross-stitching even with readers on to see clearly where I'm going, and the light has to be really, really bright. But, you know, that's just the trials of getting older. And I'm trying to get older as gracefully as I can. Hi. Alright, we're going to pause. I'm going to love on Little Princess, and then we'll be back to discuss a little bit of Lego, because Lego is crafting too. Over the Christmas break, I put together Santa's Village, which is a set from Lego. It's the blue house one where the chimney is open so Santa can slide down the chimney and deliver presents to all the household members. And I really enjoyed putting it together. It was just so, I don't know, cathartic is not necessarily the right word, but very relaxing, very enjoyable to read the directions and just click the bricks together, and I loved it. I really did. It was just wonderful. So of course I start poking around on Amazon looking at various Lego sets for, you know, this, that, and the other. And then I went over to the Lego website, because of course you would. And I found that some of the Lego website had some of the Christmas sets that I was looking at, because I love Christmas. Anyway, they had them for retail, where the sellers on Amazon had marked them up some. Cat, no. Anyway, no. There's a cross stitch just on the other side of the camera that she's rubbing her head up against, and it's sliding it over, and it's likely to fall off of the end table and knock over the camera and just be in the way. I know those of you who have cats understand the trouble with cats, because you're just not gonna let me do what I want to do. You got to be all up in my business. Anyway, so I made an account. There's the VIP system on Lego where you can earn points to turn them in for discounts and other random gear. So of course I did that. I ordered the 2 Christmas items that I wanted to off of the Lego website. They came, they shipped, and they shipped with a VIP add-on, which is just like 120 some odd pieces of randomness. And so it was the fun and festive VIP add-on pack, and that was fun. And so I poured it into a little Tupperware container and just had a good time messing around with everything that was in it. And then a little later I ordered a $10 creator pack that was just creatures, and had fun just putting that together, and I added it to my little Tupperware container of this, that, and the other. And so then I've been looking at YouTube, and I have slowly started to follow more and more Lego content creators. So I have a couple favorites, and I really like seeing what the upcoming sets are, the news, the stuff like that. Let's see, I just recently put together this cute little tuk-tuk. Isn't it darling? And I found that just once again, so relaxing, so, you know, cathartic, easy to do. Here's my silly little tuck. There's the front with the lights and whatnot. I love the little hanging tassels. Those are fun, of course. In the back we've got, I don't know, maybe that's a fire extinguisher and some rear lights. That wild pink sofa. Blue curtains. Why not? And steamer baskets full of somebody's lunch. I'm full, I'm sure. Anyway, that was delightful. And a few more things have come, because I've learned that you need $50 to get the VIP add-on pack. And so when I get the pack, I've just been throwing it into my Tupperware thing of randomness. So there's just bits, right? Just randomness. You can't... There's no rhyme or reason to this. There's no instructions to build a big thing. Like, I didn't know that you could get turkeys. Lego has turkeys. There's frogs. There's pigs. Anyway, so I got the next VIP kit, which is for Lunar New Year. And so with some of the random bits I had in there, I created this ridiculous little thing with a pig in the middle and some fun little lanterns, paper lanterns. They sent weird little Chinese dragony things. There's leaves and eggs, and I put fire, you know, some fire, or maybe it's water because who knows. I made some bamboo and put oranges on top because why not? Lined up my rabbits. It's going to be the year of the rabbit. And then it's on a, this one's on a hinge so it spins around. Added flyers, or flowers, flowers and a magic wand. And then we have some frogs back here. There's some pink frogs and some yellow frogs because why not? And I just found that this mode of creativity has been so enjoyable. It doesn't have to be a thing. You just put it together, randomness, because all the pieces in here, take the lid off, in my little bucket, they're just random little bits. I mean, it's a beehive wearing a hat. Why not? This is one of the creatures out of the creature creation thing that I did. I didn't know that they made little Lego pineapples. Pineapples. Anyway, so that's what I've been doing with Lego, and I've just, I don't know, it's just right. I've absolutely enjoyed it. I told my sister I'm trying really, really hard not to go absolutely, completely, and totally crazy buying all the Lego all the time, because heaven only knows I already have 2 expensive hobbies. I certainly don't need a third one. We certainly do not need a third one. So not too long ago, I think it was right before American Thanksgiving, or maybe shortly after. Anyway, the very end of November, World of Warcraft released their next expansion pack for the game. This is called Dragonflight. I didn't play hardly at all at Shadowlands. I just did not enjoy most of the aesthetics or the grind. I think a lot of people do enjoy a grindy MMO. I think this one, Shadowlands, had too many systems and I just did not understand what was going on. I didn't enjoy most of the places where the thing was set, the art and the landscape and stuff like that. And I quit. I quit early in Shadowlands, but I did re-sign up to check out Dragonflight, and I must say I have been enjoying it really quite a lot. Haven't been playing it a lot because I've got knitting and cross-stitch and Legos to play with, but when I do feel like getting on the computer and playing a little bit of World of Warcraft, we do. I really like the art that they've given this X-Pack. The story so far has been excellent. There are still many, many things to do that are plenty grindy, but it looks like they've made changes in gearing up a character, and I can gear myself up pretty consistently mildly high without ever having to do group content. I'm kind of a shy kid, so it's really hard for me to ask to do some group content. And one of my old raid groups is getting the band back together again, and so they'll start raiding tonight. Tonight is Saturday. Gonna dip our toes into normal and see what happens. And I probably won't go because I am still slightly undergeared with everything that's going on. What else is going? Yeah, that's pretty much it for World of Warcraft. I like the quests. I love the set design. Not set design, that's theater talk. But you know what I mean, the lands and buildings and races and story and all that stuff that they've created. Unfortunately, one of the main features of Dragonflight is dragon riding, where you get a special mount and you can fly. You can fly very, very fast, but the method of that makes me really motion sick, so I have a hard time sometimes doing that, getting out and flying around and doing my stuff. So I'm still mostly running around on the ground and using Flight Masters to get from one point to the other because they're their fancy system that everybody likes, and I can see why everybody likes it. It just makes me motion sick, so I really can't do that. So last year, back in March, was it? Give or take, something like that. March, April. Brandon Sanderson, who is the author of the Cosmere novels, launched a Kickstarter for some secret projects, some books that he had written when he didn't have to do a whole heck of a lot of traveling during the COVID shutdown, isolation, whatever thing. And I had just started reading Sanderson at the urging of some of my fellow my WoW guild. They really enjoyed Sanderson, and I do enjoy some epic fantasy. And so I had settled in and started reading the Stormlight Archive, and then this Kickstarter came up, and so of course I backed it. And I actually went mostly full in with the whole thing, ebooks, physical books, plus the monthly boxes. Did you fall off? The cat nearly fell off the, that was a good recovery, off the table in front of us. Anyway, so the first of the boxes has arrived, and my ebook for Tress of the Emerald Sea came in, and it was a delightful, absolutely a delightful read. And so with the first Sanderson box, it was themed for one of his characters, Hoyd, who is a world traveler. Here's the wonderful card, the Dragonsteel emblem. It tells us all the fun things that are inside my box. Got a pin that is themed for the character Hoyd. He's playing his flute. We have sticky notes. You can take notes right all over Hoyd's face. Then here's a mouse pad, which with some art that's absolutely gorgeous, also representing Hoyd. Really think that's gorgeous, and my cat. Anyway, I'm probably going to take this to work and replace my sad old mouse pad with that beautiful thing. We have some stickers with some Hoyd art on them. Where have you seen Hoyd? Hashtag it. And then, you know, contains nonsense. Don't we all contain some nonsense? Anyway, the Hoyd stickers are fun. And the big old piece for the set is a t-shirt with the art that says Hoyd for President. So that's quite delightful. Really quite pleased with the first box, and everything in it is really a nice high quality product. Really fun. Really look forward to, well, 11 more months of stuff. The first box was supposed to contain the hardback book of Tress of the Emerald Sea, but the publisher, the printer, not the publisher, the printer had some delays and some shipping errors. Well, not shipping errors, but some supply line issues. When they initially conceived of the Kickstarter, they thought they would maybe print 20,000 books and ended up printing like 120,000 books, something like that. I mean, it was just an astounding number, much, much higher than what they had originally thought. So the poor the printer was, you know, overwhelmed and had to scramble to get more supplies for the bigger order that they had. So they swapped the February box, which is the Hoyd box, with the January box. Don't bite me. I don't like you. What was I saying before the cat decided she was going to lick and bite? I still don't appreciate being bit. Anyway, swappy doodles of the boxes. So we'll see what February brings. It's supposed to bring the hardback book, A Tress of the Emerald Sea. I did get my ebook and read it right through, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's a light-hearted adventure that does take place in the bigger universe of the Cosmere. You don't have to know anything about it to understand what's going on. Girl falls in love, girl and boy falls in love, boy gets kidnapped or something by the sorceress and cursed and disappears, and after some thinking, girl consults with her parents and they come up with a plan so that girl can go rescue her love. And it's fun. Pirate adventure, dragons, peril at every corner, great characters. I really, really liked it. I heard a different reviewer sort of referred to it as like cozy fantasy, and I'd say that's really, yeah, it really fits. I could use a lot more cozy fantasy in my life, I'm going to say. That was really 100% worth it. Go on over to Amazon, pick up a copy of Tress. If you're a listener to audiobook, it is either on Spotify or I forget the other service that you can find the audiobook. It is not on Audible just because Mr. Sanderson thinks that the deal authors receive from Audible is a raw one, where Audible takes 60% of the profits and the author gets 40%, which is a raw deal. That's not a good deal, especially for small, tiny authors, independent authors who are just, you know, kind of making their way in the world. So Brandon thought that he would try to point this out, you know, the injustice and how much power Audible does have in the audiobook industry, audiobook world, and not publish the secret projects there. So there's 3 more secret projects coming out over the rest of the year. So I figure you guys get to see Year of Sanderson unboxings whether you want to or not. Speaking of books, one of my great friends, River, who is an author in the clean contemporary romance category, and I don't usually talk about books because I love me a romance. I love boy meets girl. You know in the end they're going to get together, and the fun of the story is the ride that it takes to get from point A to point B. Anyway, she and some friends released a series, a Christmas-based series in fictional little town in Vermont, and they ran a Kickstarter. I backed it and have been reading through all. There's supposed to be 6 books. 5 have been published already. One author hit a whole heck of a bad luck, and so she didn't get her story written quite yet, but she is working on it. So soon, hopefully, we'll get the sixth book of that issue. And the overarching theme is Seasons of Sugar Creek. So there was there will be 6 stories around the winter Christmas holidays. I believe the next one will be centered around fall, and then summer and spring, and then the last one will be New Year's. So it's been really enjoyable. I've read all these books, but I don't know that we'll do another book review. Today maybe we'll keep it to 1 review of a book of a week. And so overall, I enjoyed them. I find that I enjoyed the ones who advertised themselves as romance a lot better than the ones who advertised themselves as women's fiction. It's probably me. If you like more of the women's fiction stuff, you might like the other, you know, those authors better than than what I did. You know, everybody has their own taste, and it's okay that I'm not a fan of women's fiction or women's literature, women's fiction, because I'm not. Anyway, whatever. I'm rambling. Let it go at that. Along with that, another thing that's taking my time is I've always written bits and pieces of this and that and the others, and so River's actually challenged me to get it all put together and actually write a novel from start to finish. And y'all know about NaNoWriMo, which is the challenge to write 50,000 words on a novel during the month of November. I'm too busy. There's no way I'm going to put 50,000 words together in a month. And I find that I really have to kind of think about what I'm doing. So I've been doing about between 2,000 and 3,000 words every time I sit down, but I have to write it, type it out, think about it, and then, you know, maybe a week later come back and do another 2,000 to 3,000 words. So I'm kind of chugging around long. We'll see if I get it put together. So it's set in the same little Sugar Creek town as everybody else is, just because all the world building has mostly been done. And I'm having a good time. Boy meets girl. They fall in love. I'm trying to make the adventure of how they get from point A to point B interesting, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see. I'm much better with the description than I am with actual plot and characterization. But that's that. Neither here nor there. So, too many hobbies. Knitting, cross-stitch, Lego, World of Warcraft, reading, writing. 6 things. It's a wonder anything gets done at all around here. I'm not sure what news I should catch you up on over the past year and a half or so since I really sat down to do a craft cast. The most significant thing is I lost both of my grandparents on my mother's side passed away. Grandpa passed away in early December of 2001. And then Grandma, his wife, passed away 5 months later in May. We kind of knew that Grandpa was ill and his health had been deteriorating for a year. It was basically liver failure. And so we had a year to grieve and know that he was going to pass soon. He was going to die. Grandma was a lot more of a surprise. She died the Monday after Mother's Day. She went to church on Mother's Day, had a great time, talked to everybody. She was a vivacious, outgoing person, loved people. Everybody was her closest friend. She'd talk to you and just love on you and was sincerely interested in what you were doing. Well, Monday, the son who lives next door to her had stopped by and she had some errands that she could have him run for her. And so he chatted to her for a little bit and off he went, after lunch to run the errands. Another son, the second son, called, just after lunchtime to talk to his mom and wish her a happy Mother's Day and see how things were going. And they chatted for about 20 minutes or so, and then, according to my uncle, Grandma said, well, she needed to get up and do something and loved talking to you. And so they hung up and said their goodbyes, and, off he went. And when son number 1 came back in from running errands, she was kind of slumped over her desk, and it looked like she had been reading the newspaper and was looking for something on the floor, like she had dropped a pen or something. And so my uncle came in and was like, hey, Mom, what are you looking for? What'd you lose? No response. And so he kind of walked over and put his hand on her and knew that she was gone. In Arizona, you don't have to do an autopsy, so they didn't. She did have heart problems. She had a pacemaker put in several years ago. the family likes to say that Grandpa came for her. Came right in and said, "Mom, it's time to go. I've got everything ready for you." And so she departed. Anyway, we had the funeral for her in May. And after that came the big work of cleaning up their house and getting it ready to sell and closing everything up on the estate so that the lawyer that the will and such was registered to, and the accountant, they both suggested that it would be best if the estate was all wrapped up before the end of the year, just to make tax purposes easy. So in July, after I bought my new car, we went down. I went down with my mom and I helped them clean out all sorts of stuff, and we went through closets and china, and stuff got donated, stuff got thrown away. The kids, her kids, the grandchildren, it was allowed that their children could go through the house and choose things that meant something to them, to pass on. But the grandkids were not allowed. So the kids were choosing things, that they knew the grandkids would like. And so I have an Indian blanket that they purchased, a Navajo weaving that they purchased in Crown Point, where rug weavers could bring their wares and they would go to auction, and Grandpa absolutely loved Navajo weavings. There's a horsehair pottery that is just beautiful and intricately done by a Navajo artist. They loved the artwork from Native Americans, and there was silver and turquoise jewelry and belt buckles and this and that, and so it was a bit getting that sorted out, the keepsakes and the memories and the thises and the that's. But they made their goal. They managed to clean out the house. I helped a little bit, but I was only down there for a week. But the kids who did live in the Phoenix Valley area, the cat is less than helpful. Anyway, they managed to clean out the house. They listed it. The house sold. They got everything closed up. By the end of the year, the estate was distributed among the Chillins, and that's that. So it's been a rough year. We lost my grandparents, and then just last week we lost the dog. I sold my condo in Springville at the very height of the market before interest rates started to go up, right when it was absolutely berserk. It sold for $40,000 over asking, which was amazing. And so I was able to clear a couple hundred thousand off of it. And so all that was invested. The one day I might buy another house. As it is, I'm just living at Mom and Dad's house, which is fine. It's nice to have company. I was getting kind of lonely living by myself. But with a little chunk of that, I bought a brand new car. My old car was 15 years old, so it was about time. I love my new car. It's a truck. It's blue. It's not a truck. It's a Honda Passport, which is trucky. It looks like a truck. It's built on the base of the minivan, but it's raised a little bit because it's off-roady. Will I ever go off-road in it? No. Why did I get the Passport? Because it's smaller than the Pilot. Not by a lot, but by a little bit. So, that's all that's going on. That's more than everything that's going on. Hopefully, I'll get some stuff done, and my goal is to record every second and fourth Saturday of the month. This is the third Saturday of the month, so I don't know if I'll come back at you in another week or if we'll let it go a little bit long. We shall see. It's been great talking to you guys. Missed you all. Like, comment, subscribe. If I've left anything out and you have a question for me, ask it down there in the comments, and I'll do my best to get back to you. It may not be right away because sometimes I see the notifications come in and I'm at work and I shouldn't be doing fun stuff like answering comments while I am at work. So there's that. All right, guys, I hope you're doing all right. The sun has come out there and the snow has stopped falling. So bright days are ahead. One step up, one step forward. You can do it. You can. You really honestly can. Kindness costs you nothing. Hugs and stitches, everyone. Bye.